Welcome to Breaking It All Down. I'm Count Zero. Crime and hitman films are movies that rarely try to create a world beyond the reality that we know. There are some exceptions for sure, but the general rule of thumb is their world is our world. Yes, we normally don't interact much with mobsters or assassins or any of that sort of thing, drug traffickers, but ultimately we all exist in the same world. John Wick is a film that is one of those exceptions, and that is the film I'll be talking about this time. John Wick follows the title character, played by Keanu Reeves. A former assassin for the Russian mob, Wick had left his old life behind him after getting married, only for his wife to eventually die of cancer, leaving him an incredibly cute puppy to help him get through his grief. Unfortunately, the son of a Russian mob boss, played by Alfie Allen, who you may know as Theon Greyjoy on Game of Thrones, takes a liking to Wick's car and breaks into Wick's house to steal it, with his men killing the puppy in the process. Being sufficiently roused to anger, Wick goes on a roaring rampage of revenge against the Russian mob. Now, this could be your usual Taken-inspired fare. However, what changes this from the normal is the world of the assassins and the infrastructure and economy built around them that the story takes us into. It's a world with literally its own currency. Not just a metaphorical currency of favors and that sort of thing, but of, well, a gold coin that is used back and forth for paying for various things. And it also has its own code, which is spelled out very clearly, while still leaving a bunch of interesting little gaps around the edges that can be left to the viewer's imagination or filled in by a sequel or both. And very likely both. As a tabletop role player, I particularly liked this as it left me with something that, say, I could borrow for a future role-playing game. Speaking of which, as a fan of tabletop RPGs, I found it gloriously, unintentionally hilarious that the main character shares a name with the designer of the tabletop RPGs 7th Sea and Legend of the Five Rings, among many other role-playing games. The film's action is incredibly well shot, avoiding the cliched use of shaky cam to cover up any shortcomings in the choreography under the veiled justification of the chaos of battle. Instead, the film, which is directed by one of Keanu Reeves' former stunt doubles from the Matrix series, lets the action flow fluidly and smoothly, allowing the viewer to track movements and letting the work of the stuntmen and fight choreographers speak for themselves. It works wonderfully. The actions speak volumes about John Wick as a character, about his background, and how he approaches problems. It's a case where actions truly speak louder than words do. This does a thing which you really don't see outside of Eastern martial arts films. It lets the way a character fights develop the character, and providing a whole new dimension of show, don't tell. The acting performances in this film are also excellent. Alan is wonderfully loathsome in this movie, to the point that he should really consider paying attention to the lessons taught by William Atherton, who played Walter Peck in Ghostbusters. That if you get too good at playing a loathsome ass, you might end up getting typecast, and also slapped or kicked in the junk in real life. Keanu Reeves, normally not an actor with breadth to his performance, like in Bram Stoker's Dracula, does an excellent job here, giving real emotional range to the character. Wick is a character who just doesn't fit as a wisecracking smartass. He's going through the grieving process right now. Consequently, Reeves focuses on his grief over his wife's death, along with his rage at the intrusion on his life and the murder of his dog, who was helping him through the grieving process. If I have anything to complain about with this movie, is that we could stand to spend a little more time with the dog. Because the dog dies so early in the movie, there's a certain vibe around his actions that feels almost like a disproportionate response, but not quite. If Reeves didn't sell his grief as well as he does, it would feel like a disproportionate response. It would feel like he was overreacting. But if it were not for Reeves' performance, it works. Fans of action films and crime dramas will find a lot to like here, and the film has a strong emotional undercurrent that will make it work for most viewers. That said, clearly if you care about your kids seeing graphic violence or hearing copious amounts of profanity, you probably shouldn't watch this film around them. So, next time, hopefully video game review, depending how scheduling stuff works out. If not, there are other things about which I could be talking about. If you enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Additionally, if you want to toss me a few bucks to help get things going a little more regularly, and for that matter, to help me get equipment upgrades, there is a tip jar on this YouTube page, and also, you can always support my Patreon. Tip jar will be, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, up here, and Patreon link will be in the show notes, and the URL will also be in the credits. So, until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you then.